Welcome to my life as an NPC. I am Scythe, and today we're going to continue to play The Ladder. So we have just invited everyone into our fine mansion to host a glorious opening party / housewarming. Now, let's see where we go from here, as Hannah writes. Let's go. Hosting parties is always the same old song and dance, no matter how big or small it is. You make sure your guests are well fed, have good company, and have in general enjoy themselves. So when my opening remarks are done, when the band has started to play and the guests have started eating, I find myself wandering around aimlessly unless I'm pulled aside. For a while I stay with a small group and entertain them before excusing myself. And when they're not anymore watching me, I end up watching them. When they don't listen, I do. A local banker is having trouble with his daughter. He wished to marry her off, but she wants nothing more but to make music. One of our hotel managers worried about the stolen belongings of one of his patrons, a failing in security which should be brought up to higher authority soon. Our mayor, well, his cat died. Then there is that rose-haired woman once again. Yeah, why are they here? Are they like friends of Zack and that's why they're allowed here? Because maybe Asshole is wealthy? Maybe? It is hard not to notice her with her distinctive looks. Looks? What did it say? Looks or locks? Locks. Locks. Like hair. That's weird because she doesn't have. Maybe this is a lock? I don't know. Looks. I would say looks. She also lacks the grace that the other ladies have, though that does not make her any less beautiful. Her stance and the air she exudes instead are strong, and they make her stand out despite her casual attire. Many men have already given her their attention, though each invitation to dance has been turned down. And now I remember she was on the phone talking with her mother about saying hi to her, whoever her is, so Rose could actually be a big deal in this case. Let's see how big of a deal she is. I approach intrigued, although it is no great mystery what occupies her own attention, with the glances she keeps sending towards the boy with the oriental hair. She remains unaware though, even as I stand beside her, pretending that I am there for a drink.
You would catch his eye a lot better if you wore nicer clothes, don't you think?
Didn't realize the housewarming was going to be this fancy. I would have gone with a nice dress if I knew.
You gotta be way out of the loop if you did not expect fine clothing here.
Oh, you're fine, dearie. It's only really the parvenu. Those who climb that come to these parties all dolled up.
Oh, I see. So those who need to prove themselves wear the best clothes. Yes, I have seen a lot of that in a lot of Call of Cthulhu and Lovecraftian games where your clothes can really help you. And yes, I know how I sound. But that I am playing the role of Hannah at the moment, so it's fine.
Quite the black-haired beauty, isn't he?
The boy comes over, but I do nothing to speak any softer. He merely passes by, and it is a wonder he doesn't hear what I say.
Who, Ash?
You know, you really shouldn't have turned down those offers. If I wasn't married, I'd happily go dancing with those young men.
You're still a young woman, you too, Hannah. I refuse to accept that she's my age, 31 years old, and saying those young men. Those young men, in comparison, would have to be, like, just 18, 19, 20. That would be young men. No, that's not true. God damn it. I see where I went off there. Because I know a lot of girls that I like, not that much, but you know, I find them interesting, and they always turn out to be like 25, and I always say, God damn it, you're too damn young. Well, not too young, but why are you so goddamn young? Things like that. Yeah, so, yeah, 25. How old is Ash? Oh, we don't know that yet. Right. But we do have a new relationship. Most like Marianne, being very friendly with us.
But you said a name. Ash. That's the exquisite lad you've been looking at all this time.
Oh, is he gonna blush?
I don't know him, and I'm the one hosting this party. That must mean you know each other. Is he your boyfriend then? Because that would explain those rejections.
Oh, she refused to talk about it. In all my life I have never seen a face grow red so fast. The shade of her hair did not help as well. This is the most pink I've seen one on a person, really.
What? No, that's ridiculous. He isn't my boyfriend.
Wow, what happened to her voice?
Such a violent reaction. A simple no would have sufficed. Many here would be happy to hear it.
I am so happy with Hannah being this cheeky person like this.
And I haven't been looking at him.
Oh.
That's right. You've been staring. Quite heatedly, in fact.
Oof.
Although I'm not sure if you look like you want to kiss him or kill him.
Oh.
It's more the latter currently.
Just don't go murdering him on my property. I don't want to walk into a room and suddenly find a body there.
Are you talking about the nightmares and shit like that? However, as I feel the burning of someone's stairs. It is chilling, and though I am used to enduring the gaze of others, this one makes the hairs on the back of my neck stand up. Is it bad or is it Luke? Is it a monster or is it the nightmare of visions? Haha. I was trying to make a joke, damn it, about how Luke is a monster. I kind of knew this would happen, but it's still fucking haunting. It is chilling, and though I am used to enduring the gaze of others, and next stand upright. My attention is pulled from the girl, and I see a woman staring. Dark-haired and dirty, she looks more like a beggar than a guest, and I have half the mind to call the security at her when her mouth breaks open into a grin. All I hear is her laughing, taunting. Her stares make my blood run cold. She looks at me like I'm nothing but a pig to slaughter for her amusement. Oh dude, I cannot even imagine what that looks like. It makes my hand shake and I nearly drop my drink. But then in a blink she's gone and the buzz of the party returns.
I'll keep that in mind, but... Are you alright?
Yes, sorry. I just thought I saw something strange. It must be the trick of the light.
Oh, this is so good. I mean, I played Digimon Survive earlier, but the horror in that game is nothing compared to this. They were over accentuating all the personal trauma of all the main characters there. Here it is just brutal horror. This is scary. Digimon Survive was not.
Anyway, Honor right.
Honor?
As you must already know.
Rebecca Gales.
Gales.
The name is familiar, like a fond memory. Meet an old friend at a housewarming party. An old friend?! I recall a kind lady, a private tutor, who treated me like her own daughter when I was young. She'd even bring me food when there was no need to do so. Usually stovies, which I honestly hadn't been too keen about. Though I ate them nonetheless because she brought them for me.
Oh, the professor! And your little Becky!
My parents couldn't make it since they're in Scotland right now.
Wow.
And Mom says hi, by the way. But yeah, that's me. Little Becky. We met once before.
Yeah. Interesting how they're all actually connected to each other.
Yes, oh, I remember you. You were the cutest little thing with glasses. And when we met, you were having boy troubles with this lad called something with an A.
Oh, it's been going on for that long now, huh?
What was it again?
Ash.
Aaron, Alan, Adele, Albert, Alexander, Andrew?
The more a list of names, the more red and the more quiet Becky gets. She starts to look a bit miserable as her body language shows discomfort and stiffness. Perhaps I have triggered a horrid childhood memory. Surely I hadn't been mean when she visited with her mother. I don't quite remember all of it.
Ashton! Ash! That man is that boy! The same one. Oh, goodness me, after all these years!
Still no progress.
I can see why, though. He's quite dashing.
You don't really need to announce it to everyone within earshot, you know? Keep it down.
Then they recover so fast from that horror.
I'm so sorry, but it really is cute.
Oh. And a tad bit sad.
So, this is a nice party, Miss Wright.
Please, Anna's fine. We're friends of a sort, aren't we? We must be friends, seeing as I know about your little infatuation, Becky. Don't you worry, dearie. You'll have your happy ending yet.
I'm not too concerned about that, am I? That's not what I'm looking for.
Oh, is it? It isn't, huh?
Oh? And what makes you think that? Doesn't everybody want their happy ending?
Well, yes, but their happy ending could be very many different things.
The idea of happy endings sounds like they're just for fairy tales. And they are, sorta. I don't think you can just sit around, trapped in some tower and hope for the best. If you love them, you have to fight for it, right?
And this is where Hana says, well, why don't you go and do that then?
You're not just going to sit there and hope that everything will just fix itself on its own. Like everything, you have to work at it.
Gee, thanks, Becky, telling me that about me and my husband.
But what do I know?
Here is a grimace, although she starts to relax around my presence. How long has it been since we met as children? Certainly a long time. She was tiny back then, if I recall correctly.
I'm sure the daughter of the two greatest professors I've ever known is smart enough to know what she's talking about. But have you told him how you feel? And it's been what? 20 years?
17, actually.
Yeah, that's basically 20 years, or 15.
But no, not yet. He can be a bit dense. I was hoping that maybe he'd notice on his own and...
Well, that won't do.
You got to fight for it.
What if you two become husband and wife? He's not to be dense when he's sworn himself to another person. Why, you might just as well consider leaving before the day's even begun.
If that happens, I'll have to give him a good ear bashing, won't I? Whoever anyone ends up with, it's not going to be a perfect relationship anyway. There's going to be things you'll love and things you'll hate about the other person. We're just humans. It's funny. Here I am, trying to give you advice when you did the very same thing back then. I remember you giving me a makeover when we were still kids. And you were the first I told anyone about my... crush.
I do remember now that she mentions it. Did I give her that yellow summer dress, or the pink blouse and petticoats? She must have kept some of what I said in mind. It feels ridiculous remembering all of that years later, talking about boys and how they go crazy for pretty girls, as if it's some gospel every woman should adhere to. It was so easy to say such things then, with me not knowing any better. Such things then, that's a difficult set of words. Though looking at her now, she must have kept some of what I said in mind. Perhaps I did say something good at the time. Enough for her to take it to heart. But all that didn't matter in the moment as I mull over what she just said in my head. What Becky told me is very different from what Marianne told me. There is no time to ponder over that. However, a hush descends upon the once lively crowd. Yeah, I noticed that. The music of strings and the shadows slows to a grinding halt as the doors from the foyer opens. Oh, Luke, please don't be a drunk ass. The last of the latecomers should have arrived moments ago. And anyone else this late would simply be too embarrassed to show their face. So this can only be one person, or rather, one man. There is only one man who is audacious enough to arrive at his own party so late.
Good evening, ladies and gents. Enjoying the party.
And he's actually sort of sober.
I hope I'm not too late in welcoming you all to the right mansion.
Yes, you are. Unlike I, who was raised in the spotlight and simply grew used to his presence, he sought it out every chance he could, even when there was no spotlight that shone. And I'll never put it against him, when he smiles like that. He did so quite brilliantly under the scrutiny when he channels his showmanship. You can tell by the way people's eyes light up as he speaks, how they listen, enraptured, even if all he's doing is a simple greeting. A little wave of his hand there, a little smile there, and a bit of swagger. I always tell him that if he's not to be a businessman, he'll do well as an entertainer. I love this side of him, especially when he looks at me, and he beckons me over to humbly share his place. Not a single second is wasted as I excuse myself from Becky's side and I make my way to Luke's.
Welcome one and all to our humble abode.
Well, there's nothing humble about this.
Tonight, if you have yet to find yourself in your roles, you are our ladies and lords of the court of your king and queen. If you would excuse my presumptuousness. So, enjoy the feast that has been laid out for your senses as we only allowed the best to be served. Enjoy the rest of your night, everyone.
I need you to die. There is a round of applause, cheers, and even some hoots. Guests approach us left and right to shake Luke's hand and greet him personally, praises on their lips. It is because of this that I do not see her. I do not see her until she is dangerously close, with fury in her eyes and she is already spitting venom. Johans restrains her, taking care not to unnecessarily harm the pregnant woman. Pregnant woman, is that Lee? Her wife Lee? The Right Mansion officially opened its door with a grand housewarming feast. Zachary Steele, Ashton Frey and Rebecca Gales were seen attending. However, what was supposed to be a day of merriment turned sour when Rochelle Lee, the chief inspector's wife, accused Luke Wright of fathering her unborn baby. Oh my lord! You disgusting... But that does little to deter her rage, and the man has no choice but to let her go, lest an unborn child is hurt. Although it might be too late for that, as I see her an emptied glass of wine in her hand. How much has she imbibed in?
Are you feeling ill, Rochelle? Perhaps you need to sit down and...
No! Shut it, you monster! I ain't talking to you! I'm talking to this scumbag over here! You bloody bastard, standing there with your smarmy smile!
She interrupts me, jabbing her finger in my direction before she rounds on Luke. Even though whispers and murmur break out among the guests, all I can focus on is the heat of the moment. Obviously intoxicated, judging by the smell of alcohol on her breath. I'm not ticked off about this little display of hers, at least not yet. But I am absolutely pissed by the fact that she's endangered her own baby by drinking. There is a considerable amount of restraint and grace that I must exercise while I wait for her tantrum to subside. I keep a patient, if tight smile on my face. Luke's expression, on the other hand, is indecipherable.
Watch your tongue! You're on thin ice, Rochelle. Where's your husband? Who even invited you?
I did.
And I told you with great emphasis not to. Now we have a drunk, hormonal, pregnant woman causing a stir. What is even going on?
I'm just about to ask that exact same thing.
I don't know. But Rochelle, do calm down before you hurt yourself. I can't understand a word you're saying.
Where is that husband of yours? Lee, collect your wife right now.
Don't you fucking talk like I'm not here and you're not responsible, you ass!
Oh, Lord.
You told me that I should wait for you in the gardens.
Excuse me. What is this nonsense you're going on about?
Crazy talk. That's all it is. Just completely and utterly mad. Has anyone seen the Chief Inspector?
I am pregnant with your little bastard. You promised me you'll take responsibility.
Yeah, so here I would have wished for the journal updates to show up now. I have noticed this a couple of times already, that the journal update shows up right away in the scene. I mean, for someone like me who wants to read the small notifs right away before continuing the story, that spoiled a whole lot of things.
God damn it, Luke! I finally got you to talk to me after months of silence, and you do this to me!
What?
What do you mean you're pregnant with? Luke, is this true?
Lies and slander, woman! Security! Johans, take her out of here before she makes an even bigger fool of herself!
No, you do not do this to me! I was so ready to leave my stupid oaf of a husband. I told you to leave that damn wife of yours. Look at her. Does she look like she wants a baby?
Neither does Luke.
Does she look like she could take care of a baby?
Baby! Whew. It is now that Johans returns with security along with a concerned-looking Officer Lee. They surround her and move to escort a hysterical woman. Judging by his pale face, he has heard the whole thing, and I feel nothing but pity for the man.
I'm so sorry for her behaviour. She's been under a lot of stress. And the alcohol. Talking nonsense, that's all it is. You're not allowed to drink because of the baby, Shelley. What are you thinking?
Nothing to see here, people. Move along.
Is there really nothing here but the ramblings of a drunk? Yes, that's right. There is no way that what Rochelle says is the truth. What she says doesn't match up. I know Luke. If such a scandalous meetings are to be arranged, he won't do it in such an exposed place, especially not near his precious flowers. And he definitely won't promise responsibility or a child unless it can be helped. Besides, Luke will never. He will never go so far as to sleep with another woman, right? Okay, fine. Who am I kidding? If I am to be completely honest with myself, he might cheat. With a bit of temptation and a bit of alcohol, he just might. And doesn't that just make my blood boil to even think on the slightest possibility of infidelity? Lee isn't too far off when he told me how Luke still acted like some young hotshot bachelor. Such make me think. Ooh. No, this is not something we can work on. We need that break. Piss off, boy. Maybe Marianne had a point. Luke is a negative! Yeah! Now, can we go... No, we can't go back. Yeah. That's an evil visual novel when you can't even try out the different routes. Maybe Marianne had a point. If I am frustrated, if I am unhappy, maybe a break is needed. Some type of apart might be just what the doctor ordered. Time apart to clear our heads and to think for ourselves, or for myself to be exact. Because looking at this mess before me just brings me nothing but distress. I feel a bit nauseous actually, now that I think about it. Luke's too busy making a scene to notice, and a concerned Becky pulls me to the side. She looks she looks as disturbed as I am by this sudden turn of events. Probably not a big fan of drama. Definitely not used to it at any rate. Not surprising, as her parents were lovely yet simple people.
Hey, I figured you could use the save. You looked like you weren't doing too hot back there.
Thank you.
Do we need to call a doctor or something?
And also I am so happy that Rebecca is using saying the right lines now, because in the beginning all her lines were off. And one more thing that I like is that she is Becky and it's Mary Ann, not Marianne. Marianne. It sounds the same to me. So the name presented here is different depending on who we're playing as. I like it. Really brings color to the people, personality to them as that we're playing.
Oh no, I'll just be needing some fresh air, that's all. Some help getting out of here would be much appreciated.
Sure, that won't be a problem. I wanted to get away from this drama too anyway. Hey, Zachary! Hey, Zach!
At the mention of his name, I can't help but seek him out in the crowd as he makes his way over. They know each other?
Becca, this is a real oh, hey, Miss Wright.
If I am to assign a random number to dictate the odds of having two of my acquaintances know each other, I'll say the odds are 1 out of 1,000. And if this is any other situation, I would have been suspicious. It isn't completely impossible to have two random strangers who I met on separate occasions to know each other, in what will be a complete random happenstance. It's just that it's been faked before, to try and dupe me because of who I am, and who I am married to. But right now, coincidence or not, I'm just grateful for the help. As long as it doesn't turn out into a kidnapping anyway.
Hello, Zachary. I told you to call me Hannah. Did I not?
Yeah, you did.
And you to call me Zach.
So this is what you called me for. We gonna get Hannah out of here?
I can see that they're friends. Not terribly close ones, but friends nonetheless.
That'd be great.
They make quick work of getting us through the crowd. The people part because of Zachary's broad build, even if they want to approach me. If that isn't enough, Becky's pointed glares keep them at bay. What about Ashton? We even make it out of the ballroom without any untoward incident. Though, judging by the commotion in the other room, the same cannot be said about the unexpected eviction. I really do need fresh air. I need to be away from those nosy Parkers. I need to be away from Luke. This is a good start as any.
Hey, I gotta go back in there. Completely forgot my bag like an airhead, and I'll see if I can tag Ash on the way out.
Good.
You'll be fine here, right, Hannah?
Not to worry, dearie. I'll just be right here.
I mean, wow, Hannah completely turned me around. I did not like her when we were playing as Isabella, but now she is such a great person. I really need to replay this just to see what was wrong with Hannah in the Isabella run.
Zach will be with you if you need anything.
Becky balks at the idea of going back into the ballroom. Balks. Never heard that word. Anyone who hasn't yet would have realized I am gone by now. And those busybodies will be gossiping about how I left the building with two unknowns. Along with what just transpired, the stories both inaccurate and made up will spread by the night's end. It all matters very little in the grand scheme of things, of course. I won't even bother to try and quell them by returning to the fray. That leaves me with...
Zachary?
Yeah, you need something?
He is definitely the single best actor in this game, so far.
I was only going to say how nice it is to see you again.
Hannah is very close to the top 2.
Oh, okay.
I can see that attention in the line of his shoulders. Odd how awkward he is when this isn't our first meeting. We had met on professional terms certainly, but I'd like to think I was friendly. Nonetheless, I do not push the issue about apparent discomfort when we were left alone. Not right away, at any rate. I know my curiosity will get the better of me soon. Before I can say anything, however, he speaks up.
You okay there, Hana? I mean, of course you're not okay after what happened in there. I mean, that was terrible. But you're not gonna just fall down and faint or anything, right?
I am not a drama queen.
I'm fine. Thank you for your concern.
A beat.
I should be asking you the same thing. I remember you being a lot more eloquent.
Oh yeah, I'm just not too good with staying too long in a crowded room.
I do feel the same way. Man, I have always had a problem with that. Growing up, whenever there are a lot of people in the same area, meant for one specific task, like mingling. Oh my god, all the energy drains from my body in an instant. I still remember a couple of years ago, I went to Comic-Con in Stockholm, and that venue was not big enough for all those people, goddammit. It was so packed. After like an hour, I got out of there, went to a friend's home, and he didn't even know I was going to visit him. I just said, hey, can I come over? And that was about it. I then arrived at his place, and I was pretty much silent and unapproachable for possibly 4 hours, because I was so damn drained from being in such a place with so many people. I mean, thank you for housing me like that with such a short notice, but I'm sorry that I was such a horrible, not horrible, but thank you. Yeah.
Or handling intense drama, you know. Sorry about my clothes. Didn't think there'd be a dress code. Not that I have anything that nice to wear to a shindig like this.
Shindig.
I dig nice, small, simple parties, so this is a real doozy for me.
And do you host your own nice, small, and simple parties often?
Only when there's occasion, birthdays and stuff. Those are a lot more fun for me, and I can be a lot more selective about letting only the people I'm cool with attend, right?
Man, this is some... Now I know why I like these two. That's because they are... what's it called? Not Beauty and the Beast. What is it? Lady and the Tramp. They are Lady and the Tramp. That is... Well, not that he is a tramp by that sense, but their class is so different. That is what makes them so great together. For some dumb reason. Well, most likely because she is not a higher society lady that looks down on everyone else. She wants real people. And that is why Lady and the Tramp works. I've never seen that movie, actually. But, yeah. I get the appeal of it now. I really do. I should have watched that movie.
I get to pick the food, too. Of course, I make most of them myself.
Mm.
There's usually a dozen people or less, and all we really do is just hang out. Maybe do some grilling, karaoke, dancing, you know, the usual.
No, she doesn't.
That sounds nice.
Yeah. You sure you're alright? You aren't exactly being eloquent yourself, as you put it. You must have something you want to get off your chest.
I don't know, Zachary. What am I supposed to say?
You can scream merde if you want. I won't stand.
You want to know what I think? How I feel? I think my friend may have slept with my husband. At least, I'm pretty sure she isn't pregnant with his baby, which isn't much now, is it? My husband is a selfish, pretentious, bloody sack of shite, and you know what? I don't give a flying fuck anymore! My God!
Well, that ain't good. Not giving a crap won't make the problem go away.
I'm going to ask him for a break, Zachary.
Yes! Good, good, good.
I'm not going to pretend that there isn't a problem, but I just need to step back.
Fair enough. As long as you don't just up and disappear on him, I suppose.
Yes. Now can we please stop talking about him? Tell me more about your small, simple parties. Karaoke and dancing. How does that even go together?
Simple, really. We hope Ash doesn't take the mic, put on a bit of fun music, and just dance. Not that I can, but there ain't nothing complex about it.
You can't be that bad.
I'm pretty good with the twist. Or that's what they tell me, at least. I think they're just being nice. I'm sure it just looks awkward.
How should I respond? Prove it. At least you can cook. Ooh. He doesn't like being put on the spot like that, but I do like them together. But he does really like his cooking. He seems to be proud of that. And that can really... I want them to be together, but he will not accept us. Jeez, I'm really talking as I'm Hana now. He will not accept Hana because he knows what's going on. He will not be the rebound guy. That's Zack. He will not be the rebound guy. So at least you can cook. I'm gonna have to save here. Because that is goddamn painful. But at least you can cook.
At least you can cook. Allegedly.
Nothing happened.
You still bring no proof.
I need to reload and see if anything happens when we...
I've learned that men tend to exaggerate. You can't honestly be that bad, can you?
He liked being to dance with her. I misplayed, but I'm not taking it back. I just had to know. This pains me so much. I'm here for the blind result. I'm not just gonna make it the best game.
At least you can cook, allegedly.
Nothing happened. Oh Lord, it went up all the way here. Oh, that is such a big miss. Oh my Lord. Oh.
You still bring no proof.
This party ain't exactly a potluck, is it?
True, true. Perhaps you can invite me to one of your simple parties. I will bring the cake.
Yeah, why not? But with a cake that big, like at your housewarming party, we'll be eating frosting for weeks. Maybe make it a little simpler and it's a deal.
Simple would be nice.
Oh. They didn't dance. Oh, I could have them dancing together. I am so pained by this. Oh. Jeez. I wish the same can be said about what I'm about to do. Simple isn't the adjective I will use to describe the task at hand. Because really, how does one tell their husband that they want to separate and say that, no, this is not a divorce? Not yet, at least. The possibility is there. But still, how am I to explain that to Luke without him throwing a fit? Cutting too deeply into my sausages, I open my mouth to excuse myself. That is, until I spy Luke mashing and stirring his poached eggs with a fork like a petulant child. He has been silent all the while, his chin is in his hand and elbow resting on a table. I worry that my absence after this debacle may have caused more harm than good.
Luke?
It's not why, okay? It's you. It's not why, okay? It's you. I don't understand that. Let's see here. See? They look amazing together. In the aftermath of Rochelle's accusation, the devastated Hannah was seen exiting the ballroom with Rebecca Gales and Zachary Steele. Hannah was left in the care of the man when Rebecca had to go back to the party in search of Ashton. Now alone, the two had a talk and both were smiling by the end of it.
I think we need a bit of a break. You know, some time apart.
At my words, he grows still and silent. I'm not quite sure whether I should be worried or not. I take it as my cue to keep talking.
It's not permanent or anything like that. Just for a while. In a few days, perhaps. I was thinking I can move back into our penthouse in the meantime, but I won't be moving out right away, so that I can help settle everything here. And I haven't even thought of packing yet. And I'll want to ask Johans to assign some of our staff. Unless you want the penthouse anyway. Then I'll stay here instead.
No, you take the penthouse. It'll be easier for you.
Easier for me? It isn't supposed to be this easy, is it? Can he really react so aloof to it?
Isn't this to your liking? I imagine that you'd like the space and independence. You'll have the bed and covers to yourself, and you can have whatever you want prepared for meals. You can even have all the wine you want, though I'd rather that you don't.
This isn't about that, Hana. Well, it's partly that, but...
The man stops playing with his food, choosing instead to push the plate aside.
What's wrong, Luke?
He slumps back in his chair and just stops short of putting his feet up on the table. I suspect he's wanting some wine or absinthe by now, but any sort of alcohol is suspiciously absent in his hands.
Aside from that disaster yesterday and you telling me you want a divorce, everything is peachy keen.
This is not a divorce.
Will you want me to start in the letters then? To start the divorce settlements and whatnot? Will you be seeking ways to throw me out onto the street without a penny to my name?
No, Luke, this isn't a divorce. I just told you this is only temporary. Are you really having a sulk because of what she said yesterday?
I am having a sulk because you believe her. You stormed out and now you're asking for us to split up? Soon enough, you'll want to throw me out like I'm a piece of trash.
Well, you've been treating me like a piece of trash, so... yeah, you deserve it.
Do you think I would be this calm if I believed her, Lucille Mitchell, right? Because believe me, if I did, well, it wouldn't be pretty. Besides, I know how you feel about children. It makes her whole statement laughable.
Sure, whatever you say.
His mouth draws into a thin line and I can't bring myself to comment on his half-hearted reply. To me, the silence that follows feels oppressive. It only emphasizes the wall that has been built up by my... What the hell is that word? Obeisance. Not obedience, not obesity. Obeisance. And his hubris. And it looms between us, keeping us apart.
When are you leaving? In a week?
It won't take that long to pack. After All Saints, perhaps? I'll go and inform the staff of this.
He only nods. And I'll be lying if I said that didn't disappoint me. I expected more resistance. This man could be stubborn as a mule if he wants to be. Perhaps I can leave now, just to spite him. But that isn't like me. Even if this does end in a divorce, a thing we both surely wish to avoid, we can still leave on amicable terms. There's no point in making a mountain out of a molehill.
What are you still doing here? Just leave. You still have some packing to do, don't you? Ooh. Go ahead. I won't stop you.
Well, he is difficult to like. During breakfast, Hana asked Luke for a break. She'd been moving back to the penthouse for a couple of days, despite trying to remain aloof. Her husband accused her of wanting a divorce. Hana insisted she simply needed a break from him. Go ahead and do nothing. But that is where we cut off for today's episode. Oh man, I want to do blind play so badly, but that thing about dancing with Zack or telling him to cook me some food, oh, that hurt me so badly. Man, I want those two to be Oh, I need them to be on good terms by the end of this. Oh. Well, if you did enjoy this, make sure to come back for future episodes, because I do post these videos 2 times a week. And remember, just because you're not the main character doesn't mean you're not important. Goodbye, everyone.